Hey Bayek, it's me Ian, and in today's video I'm continuing my look at classic Doctor Who, the third and the fourth Doctors, the golden age, yes, of Doctor Who. And this is the Daemons from 1971. 5 episodes long this, and it is one of the best. Oh, I mean, they're all great, and this one is just outstanding. I absolutely love this one. There's so much about it. Let's get on with it. It's from season 8, and it's the 5th and final one of the season. And after this, we've got Day of the Daleks. Before this, we'd had Colony in Space. And the Day of the Daleks, of course, was the opening of the 9th season, which was on the 1st of January 1972. Yes, so we've got that. And this was transmitted on the 23rd of May 1971 through to 19th of June 1971. Now, it's written, it says, by Guy Leopold, but this was a fictitious name. It was actually written by Barry Letts and Robert Sloman. He felt that, well, Barry Letts had wanted to write for the series, but it was a bit frowned upon to some extent by the BBC for various reasons. So this is what he did. He did a collaboration. He had an idea what he wanted. In fact, he'd used an idea in this when Katie Manning came to do her audition. They did a scene which effectively was in the very last episode in this, and that is actually in this, yeah. Anyway, I've gone off there. Yes. Now, it's directed by Christopher Barry. Christopher Barry, we've come across him so many times. He's such a great director for Doctor Who, he was. Now, the Daleks, he goes right back to directing that. Episodes 1, 2, 4, and 5 between 1963 and 1964. He directed The Rescue, 1965, The Romans, 1965, The Savages, 1966. All these were first Doctor William Hartnell stories. Then he did the opening Patrick Troughton story, Second Doctor, The Power of the Daleks. That's from 1966. Then he moved on into doing the Third Doctor, and this was his return. But then he went on to do The Mutants, 1972. He did The Robot, Tom Baker's opening story, 1974. He did The Brain of Morbius, 1976, which is an absolute essential classic episode. He also did Creature from the Pit, 1979. Wonderful. And he had a great career in TV directing, very much a TV director. Great. And then, of course, as I have to mention them, we've got as usual the script editor, Terence Dix, and producer, Barry Letts. Yes. Now, this was filmed on location at the village of Alderbourne in Wiltshire. And it was a luxury because they had 2 weeks of location filming. And they decided, okay, it was going to cost quite a bit maybe, but yeah, they'd do it, and they did it. They were allowed to do it, and it really benefits. So they had this for 2 weeks of in the village, and also a bit more locations. We had like Membury Airfield in Berkshire, Bridge Farm in Ramsbury. They were briefly used as well, but 2 weeks. What a luxury! And it's brilliant what they do. Um, so let me just talk about the cast. We've got, of course, as usual, John Pertwee playing Third Doctor, Katie Manning playing Jo Grant. We've got Nicholas Courtney playing the Brigadier. We've got Richard Franklin playing Captain Yates. We've got John Levine playing Sergeant Benton. And Roger Delgado playing the Master brilliantly. So the cast, we've got Stephen Thorne, who plays Azel or Azel, or I'd say it's Azel. Now he's really the voice. It's the voice with him, and the voice, of course, it was used for Omega in the Three Doctors, and also Eldrad in the Hand of Fear 1976. A great voice actor, which is very powerful in this. Then we had there isn't a great deal of information, but from what I gather, Stanley Mason played Bok, which is one of these little creatures. He was quite a small person, and he really was kind of an acrobat, and sort of they used in that context in this, and he does really a good job. And yeah, it's great. And then we have got well, she is quite important to it, Damaris Heyman, who plays Miss Hawthorne. Miss Hawthorne, yes, she's great in this, but she's a face that often popped up on TV, though she did have some film roles. One I noticed that stands out for me is she was in Bunny Lake is Missing, 1965. It's an absolutely superb film with Laurence Olivier. And she was also in Mutiny on the Buses. Oh, yes, Mutiny on the Buses from 1972. See, I love the On the Buses films. Well, she was also in a horror film called Full Circle from 1977, and that has Mia Farrow in it. Yeah, wonderful. But I say she was just a face that popped up on television, all these TV series. Is very recognizable. She was, yeah, and she's really good in this. And apparently she had quite a knowledge about the occult, and was used. Her advice was used, as other members of the cast also said, about use of the occult. Also, we've got Robin Wentworth playing Professor Homer. He was a TV actor who just appeared in so many things. Again, another one who had a great career, and here he is in Doctor Who. And then let's just a mention here for the Headington Quarrymen. The Headington Quarrymen were in fact used as the Morris Men, and they were great in the scenes. The filming, apparently, there's some great stories about them. It was absolutely wonderful. All in the village, yeah. Because all the village, of course, came out, a lot of the extras. And we see our scenes within, which the villagers are actually involved in. Yeah. They were so welcome when they came to film. It was great. What can you say about it? It's fantastic. It was. So, what is this about? The story. Well, what I like about it is it starts off with this like archaeological dig, and of course Miss Hawthorne, the local sort of, she describes herself as a white witch, is warning why they shouldn't disturb what they're doing in this dig. And then there's the professor there saying, no, it's all nonsense and all that and that. But anyhow, it's all been televised as well on, it says BBC 3. Yes, Doctor Who ahead of the time, predicting BBC Three. Though I don't think this is kind of the programme that BBC Three would transmit somehow. No. But it is. Anyhow, the Doctor sees this and obviously sees quite a lot. Of course, he's talking with um, uh, Katie Manning's Joe as Joe, and about this is typical Doctor Who because she's going on about occult things that are unexplained, and he's saying there's always a scientific reason behind it, which is very much the Doctor as it's been over the years. But this is such a good story because it is delving in. It's even though there's you could say a sort of scientific rational explanation, it is actually looking at the supernatural, perhaps in a darker way as well. And this is what is amazing, that this was transmitted on a tea time, on a Saturday tea time. It's got very adult themes, very quite dark, really. And you can imagine there was a certain amount of controversy about that. And this is really, I know it gets going more into the Tom Baker era, the Gothic style, but this has got the wonderful. It's just great. I could just, you feel this story. It's so good. Basically, from that scenes, and the Doctor goes down. He's not saying to everybody exactly what is behind all this, but he knows that something is wrong. And then, of course, we find out there's a sinister reverend figure who happens to be the Master again. Yes, and he's trying to control this village, and he's summoning this this what looks like a demon, but is like really an alien kind of the usual aliens experimenting on Earth. Is it worth experimenting and all that kind of stuff? And the Master wants to get involved and use this, of course, and the Doctor and then Unit get in there as well. It's a great story. It's just a wonderful story as usual. But what I like about it is that it's done in such a way and filmed. You almost get, it's like the Hammer story that you've wanted in Doctor Who. Here it is. And, I absolutely love Hammer. And you can see it so much in this story. And of course, the special effects that Doctor Who manages to do on this low budget are absolutely brilliant. I mean, the use of the models, even blowing up the church at the end. I mean, crikey, wow! They got complaints from people saying, "Hey, you can't do that to church." But it was that good, I mean, obviously now we look at it and you can see some special effects and limitations. And even the story, people get a bit silly sometimes. They start criticising the story and logic in the story. It's Doctor Who, for goodness sake. Just enjoy it. And this brilliantly does it. I mean, even, to be honest, I'm surprised it didn't get more complaints because the language it's using is very occult language. I could hear even, Alistair Crowley kind of stuff going on about what they're talking about, certain phrases, and it's black magic stuff. And the title of the documentary, The Devil Rides Out, well, that's a brilliant Hammer film from 1968. Say no more. I totally recommend this story. If you've not seen it, why haven't you seen it? It's Doctor Who, it's best. I'm just going mad. It's a brilliant story, honestly. This is fantastic. It got a VHS release in 1993, but they've had problems with colorizing certain episodes, and they did at the time. Now technology has got better. We got a DVD release in 2012, and then, of course, we've got the final Blu-ray release in 2021 with the Doctor Who collection season. So I'll just quickly show you. Here it is, the DVD release. It's got 2 discs in. Brilliant. All the extras on this, including this brilliant documentary. We've got the usual thing there. They're fantastic. And then, of course, we got this, which is even better. it looks great. They've done all sorts of the documentaries, everything. It's all on here. Yes, the Doctor Who collection, fantastic. I just love it. Honestly, it's if you've not seen this story, why haven't you seen it? I just love it. They can't do this nowadays. They just haven't got a clue how to do a story like this. And yet here we are in 1971, them producing this. There's no way they could even do it nowadays. They haven't got the wit or the intelligence to put this forward. You can have all the special effects and money, but they couldn't do it, really. And that's it. I better go before I get shocked, probably. Okay, so if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. We'll let you know when I produce all these videos. And if you look in playlists, you can see all the reviews I've done of Doctor Who. They're all in there. And then all other things I do on the channel, which you might like or not. And if you like this particular video, please give it a like. It gets it out onto YouTube and algorithms and all that stuff. And if you've got any comments, please put your comments down. I love to read your comments. And it all costs notes, so you can't say fairer than that. So all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.